Open Google Earth right now and type these coordinates. 37.563 N, 116.85 W. You'll see pixelation, blur, digital fog where there should be clarity. Now try 51.728 N, 126.164 E in Siberia. Same thing. Try the Mururoa Atoll in French Polynesia. Blurred. The Netherlands has 3 residential neighborhoods you can't see clearly. Israel has dozens of locations rendered in lower resolution than surrounding areas. This isn't a software glitch. This isn't random. Google Earth has commercial satellite imagery at 15 centimeter resolution sharp, enough to identify individual cars. Yet 17 specific locations worldwide are deliberately degraded, pixelated, or replaced with outdated imagery. Some of these are military sites. That makes sense. But others? Residential areas, research facilities with public addresses, islands with documented civilian populations. The pattern exists. The documentation is verifiable. This isn't conspiracy, this is cartographic policy you can confirm yourself. Let's establish what we know for certain. Google Earth sources imagery from multiple commercial satellite providers, Digital Globe, Airbus Planet Labs. The raw imagery exists at high resolution. It's been captured. It's in the database. But certain coordinates display at dramatically lower quality or show imagery that sears out of date while surrounding areas update regularly. The documented blur zones include Nevada Jesgrun Lake Facility expected for Area 51. Russia's Kozelsk military base understandable. But also, the Royal Palace in Amsterdam. Residential zones in Noordwijk, Netherlands. The Tantoco National Park in Chile. Taiwan's Hsinchu Air Base shows 2007 imagery while the rest of Taiwan displays current data. France's Isle Long Naval Base is blurred, but so is the civilian Mururoa Atoll, despite nuclear testing ending in 1996. Here's what makes this systematic rather than random. Governments can request imagery degradation through official channels. The Kyl-Bingaman Amendment to the 1997 National Defense Authorization Act requires commercial satellites to match the resolution Israel permits, which is intentionally degraded. Similar arrangements exist with other nations. These are documented policies, not speculation. But not everything blurred makes military sense. Some locations suggest different motivations entirely. When a government wants a location concealed on commercial satellite platforms, 3 mechanisms exist. First, direct legal requirements. The United States can classify satellite imagery under national security laws. Israel's Kyl-Bingaman restrictions mandate all commercial imagery of Israeli territory match their lower resolution. Domestic standards approximately 2-meter resolution instead of 15 centimeter. Russia has similar legal frameworks requiring domestic approval for high-resolution imagery. Second, voluntary corporate compliance. Google proactively blurs locations based on government requests, even without legal obligation. The Netherlands requested blurring of royal residences and certain infrastructure. France requested naval base degradation. Taiwan asks for military facility pixelation. Google complies because market access matters more than cartographic completeness. If you want to operate in France, you accommodate French government concerns. Third, the licensing agreements themselves. Commercial satellite providers sign contracts with governments that restrict what can be published. Digital Globe's contracts with the U.S. National Reconnaissance Office include shutter control. The government can halt imaging of sensitive areas during operations. These restrictions flow downstream to platforms like Google Earth. But here's where it gets interesting. Not all blur zones fit military justifications. Noordwijk, Netherlands contains the European Space Agency's Technology Center, ESTEC. It's not classified. You can visit. Yet the residential areas surrounding it show degraded imagery. Mururoa Atoll's nuclear testing ended nearly 3 decades ago. It's now marketed to tourists. Why maintain the blur? The pattern suggests something beyond security. Information control as policy. When satellite imagery became commercially available in the 1990s, governments realized they'd lost monopoly over geographic intelligence. The blur zones represent negotiated compromises, governments saying, you can map our territory, but not completely. Consider the economic implications. Before commercial satellites, only nations with space programs had high-resolution Earth imagery. That created intelligence asymmetry strategic advantage. When Digital Globe launched in 1997, that advantage evaporated. Suddenly anyone with internet access could see military installations, government facilities, infrastructure vulnerabilities. The Kyl-Bingaman amendment wasn't about Israeli security alone, it was about maintaining information control in the commercial satellite era. The timeline is telling. Most blur policies emerged between 1997 and 2005, right when commercial satellite resolution surpassed 1 meter. That's not coincidence. That's governments adapting to technology they couldn't suppress entirely, so they negotiated partial concealment instead. Here's the critical distinction. Some blur zones protect legitimate security interests. Nuclear submarine bases probably shouldn't be available at 15-centimeter resolution. But residential neighborhoods in the Netherlands, Chilean national parks? These suggest the criteria for concealment extend beyond military necessity into broader information control. If you find this troubling, you're not wrong to. We've normalized the idea that digital maps show us the world accurately. But they show us the world as permitted, a curated version negotiated between corporations and governments. The blur zones are visible reminders that what you see depends on agreements you never consented to. The realistic analysis. Governments have legitimate interests in protecting sensitive installations. But the blur list includes locations where the security rationale is weak. Moroa's continued pixelation suggests institutional inertia classifications that outlive their justification. The Netherlands' residential blurring suggests scope creep security policies expanding beyond military necessity. Israel's blanket degradation across the entire nation suggests information control as national policy. Not every blur zone conceals something nefarious. Many protect infrastructure genuinely vulnerable to targeting. But some represent governments maintaining information asymmetry simply because they can, because Google needs market access more than cartographic completeness. Here's what you should watch for. This field attracts wild speculation. People claim Google Earth hides alien bases, secret cities, dimensional portals. They don't. The blur zones have documented explanations, military facilities, government requests, licensing restrictions. But that doesn't make them all justified. Geographic censorship is real. The blur zones exist. You can verify them yourself. I've given you coordinates. But verify the explanations too. Check which locations match military installations. Check which don't. Read the Kyl-Bingaman amendment. Review Google's transparency reports on government imagery requests. The question isn't whether blur zones exist, they demonstrably do. The question is whether the criteria for concealment match the security justifications provided, or whether we've accepted information control as the default setting for digital cartography. Question everything including this video. Type in those coordinates. Compare historical imagery. Check surrounding areas for resolution consistency. Follow the policy trail. Because if we don't verify what we're allowed to see, we'll never notice what we're not.